Sean Kingston has been making a lot of headlines recently, but not for good reasons. He and his mom actually got arrested, and from the looks of things, they might be going to jail for a very long time. But now the secret reasons for their arrest are finally coming to the surface, and you'll never believe what's been revealed. Earlier this year, Sean was arrested during his concert at a U.S. Army base in California. This happened barely a few hours after a SWAT team had raided the mansion he was renting in South Florida, arrested his mother, Janice Turner, and taken a lot of stuff from his house. According to the Broward County Sheriff's Office, Sean and Janice were arrested on accounts of fraud, grand theft, and criminal use of identification. Their arrest warrants say that from October 2023 to March of this year, they stole almost $500,000 in jewelry, more than $200,000 from the Bank of America, $160,000 from an Escalade dealer, more than $100,000 from the First Republic Bank, and $86,000 from the maker of customized beds. Initially, when the incident occurred, Sean was quick to go on Instagram to try and diffuse the entire situation. He made a post talking about how much people love negative energy and how he and his mother are good and everything would go away soon. But it didn't take long for Sean to take his post down, probably after he realized just how serious his case actually was. Especially because at the time of his arrest, Sean was on 2-year probation for trafficking stolen property, as reported by AP News. An attorney who witnessed the arrest of Sean's mother said that the detentions were also related to a tech fraud charge that was filed against Sean and his mom. This was a crime that Sean was apparently able to commit because of his celebrity card, which he uses to create this larger-than-life persona to make people think he's extremely rich. And when that doesn't work, he uses his mother as an accomplice, claiming that he's the only one available to take care of her, knowing fully well that people would find it hard to say no to him because of that. In the tech lawsuit that was filed, Sean had supposedly defrauded a Florida company called Verver Entertainment LLC after they had installed a 232-inch television in his home. Apparently, he had contacted the company sometime in September of last year about buying a colossal TV and sound system, and everything he was looking to get included installation, cost at least $110,000. Instead of paying for it or letting it go if he couldn't afford it, apparently, Sean told the owners that if they would agree to lower the down payment on the TV and give him credit, he and Justin Bieber would do commercials for them. Yes, you heard that right. And because this was a no-brainer deal, the owners accepted. Sean and Justin had previously worked together on their song, Eeny Meeny, which appeared on Justin's 2010 debut album. So they assumed that Justin and Sean were still in contact with one another. This turned out to be false, as they don't have any kind of relationship with each other whatsoever these days. Worst of all, Justin never agreed to shoot any commercial with Sean or even heard about the deal Sean was making in his name in the first place. Anyway, Sean was able to strike himself a deal where he would make a $30,000 down payment before making a second payment for $47,827.16. and make social media posts worth over $38,000. According to the New York Post, at the end of this deal, Sean was set to pay $77,827.16 only, $33,000 less than the original price of the TV. Unfortunately, the only payment the company ended up receiving for the TV was $30,000, which Sean paid sometime in November. And after months of being played with by Sean, they decided to take the matter up with the authorities. While still dealing with this, a few weeks ago, Sean and his mom Janice made their first appearance in the federal Florida court after being indicted for wire fraud in a phony scheme to buy more than $1 million worth of luxury items. They were indicted on 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and 5 counts of wire fraud, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida, with each of their offenses carrying a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. Apparently, Sean and his mom have been buying high-end items and claiming to have paid for them through bank wire transfers and other monetary payment transfers, knowing full well that they didn't pay for anything. So far, on the latest updates concerning the case, Sean was released on a $10,000 cash bond, and Janice was released on a $5,000 cash bond, according to court documents. If Sean and his mom end up being found guilty, this will ruin whatever's left of Sean's already fading music career. This is crazy because 17 years ago, no one would have ever imagined something like this happening to Sean. Sean took the music industry by storm when he released his 2007 hit track, Beautiful Girls. This song went on to launch Sean's music career into mainstream success by landing at the #1 spot on Billboard Hot 100, making Sean's name practically known by everyone. At the time, he was living the life that most people could only dream of. But then, about 4 years later, everything changed. In May 2011, Sean was out jet skiing with a female friend of his, and what was supposed to be a harmless and fun ride turned into a major nightmare for him and his friend. Sean's jet ski got out of control and hit a bridge in front of them. It then catapulted him and his passenger into the water, knocking both of them out on the spot. The impact of the crash was so strong that it left imprints of Sean's head, arms, and upper chest on the cement bridge. Sean was taken to the hospital after the incident. He was in critical condition. At first, it looked like he was getting better, even though he had suffered from a fractured wrist, a broken jaw, and damage from water in his lungs. But it turns out that he wasn't recovering as well as people thought. After 11 days of seemingly showing recovery, Sean's condition became even worse as his accident had left him with a torn aorta. The doctors had to send him in for emergency open heart surgery to save his life. Now, what scared Sean so much about this surgery was the fact that right before he went in, he was told that many people don't come out alive from this kind of surgery. But he didn't have a choice. He was in a lot of pain, and going through the surgery was the only hope of survival that he had. Thankfully, Sean's surgery was a success, and he was able to make a full recovery from his accident. Even though Sean saw the accident as a turning point, one that gave him a second chance at life, the truth is that things started going downhill for him after this. For starters, his music career stopped growing. Even though he tried making music after the accident, it just wasn't the same. He wasn't able to get back to the glory he once had as an artist. This would explain why in most of the shows he ends up doing these days, he only plays songs from back then. And now with his current situation, he might just end up losing whatever it is that's left of his career if he ends up getting convicted. And that looks pretty likely considering all the available evidence against him. But I'd like to know what you guys think. Do you think Sean's career will ever be able to recover, or do you think he's done for? What are your thoughts on his recent arrest? Let me know in the comments below.